taken better care of Puerto Rico than any man ever.
Really?
Puerto Rico has been taken care of better by Donald Trump than by any living human being.
You mean like this? Or maybe you meant like this.
The president reportedly doesn't want another single dollar going to that island.
Today, Donald Trump claimed he has done more for the American citizens of Puerto Rico than any human being ever. Now, this comes just a few days after it was reported that Trump told Republican legislators at a closed-door meeting that Puerto Rico had received too much money to rebuild after Hurricane Maria. Okay, so let's just put aside the pettiness of a man speaking about himself in third person and discuss the facts at hand. Trump claims he did everything to help Puerto Rico while also claiming they received a disproportionate amount of funding compared to that of Florida and Texas. Okay, so Hurricane Maria was estimated to have caused over $90 billion worth of damage to Puerto Rico.
If anybody out there is listening to us, we are dying.
The official death count for the hurricane and its aftermath went from 64 to nearly 3,000 people following an independent analysis. Now, while the disasters in Florida and Texas were major, the scope and cost of the impact from those storms was far lower. So yes, when you compare the extent of the damage, it makes sense that Puerto Rico would require more funding because it faced the brunt of the damage. On top of this, the island's dependency on government finance programs is far greater than any other states that seek disaster relief. Back in 2006, Congress removed a tax incentive program to encourage investment in Puerto Rico. The subsequent recession led to the island going down a spiral of debt and is a major reason why its residents depend on things like food stamps to get by. And this week, Congress missed its deadline to fund food stamps for the territory, forcing the island to cut back aid for more than 1 million residents who depend on them. It was reported that earlier this month, more than 670,000 people had already seen their benefits cut by 1/4 on average, and still the reductions are spreading. A recent projection by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities suggests that unless Congress moves to pass funding for more relief, cuts on that scale will spread to basically all of the 1.4 million people who are on food stamps. That's just over 1/3 of Puerto Rico's entire population. Up to 230,000 people could lose benefits entirely. Just over half of those 1.4 million recipients are either children, the elderly, or the disabled. The vast majority of the rest are either working or looking for work, which isn't exactly easy to find in a territorial economy with 9.3% unemployment. So again, yes, more relief for these American citizens is expected and needed considering the ongoing suffering and difficult conditions, and it should not be compared to mainland states with much stronger existing infrastructure. But as we've seen, Trump loves to pit the sufferers of different disasters against each other.
Now, I hate to tell you, Puerto Rico, but you've thrown our budget a little out of whack. But if you look at a real catastrophe like Katrina.
And the reason the treatment of Puerto Rico has been downplayed is due to the lack of immediacy and constant disregard of the extent of the damage. In the early stages, Trump said Hurricane Maria was not a real disaster in regards to its effects on Puerto Rico, not like that of Katrina, despite the fact that it has now taken more lives than 9/11. And he has continued to downplay the severity of the conditions Puerto Ricans face while remaining reluctant to offer further aid. There are still an estimated 13,000 people without power in Puerto Rico. And with the many ongoing problems that I highlighted above, an estimated 500,000 people are projected to leave the island, which will have crippling impact on the US territory unless more relief is offered. So no, Donald, I don't think you've done more than any other human. I think you've used this island as another tool in your political mudslinging contest, leaving the people of Puerto Rico caught in between to suffer the consequences. I'd love to know what you have to think. As always, you can hit me up on my Instagram at Francis M. Maxwell. We can talk about this. You can support independent media here. Never miss another breakdown video by ringing the bell below. You'll get notified whenever we publish something new. And don't forget to join TYT today. Download our TYT Plus app on your phone or head over to tyt.com/join.